Welcome to Champagne Sunday. I'm Lauren.
Hey, I'm Bonnie.
I'm Beth.
And we're going to talk about life
After divorce.
And living
The best life.
and the life you love.
Yes, living the life you love on that other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome.
Okay, ladies. So tonight we're asking ourselves why it's so important in the midst of divorce or after divorce or whatever to make sure that you connect with your oldest friends. So we kind of just pre-gamed about this, but like they're the ones who know you best, and they're usually the ones who know you before you knew him or
before your trauma.
And I don't know, right after my divorce, I had like this little, and like I am really good friends with one of those people. She's my bestie, and everybody else I kind of see every now and then. But we had a little bit of a reunion. It's almost been 2 years now, and I just felt like it gave me, like, I could grab on and like find me again a little bit. You know what I mean? Because they knew me then. They knew me.
Right.
They knew the original me.
Yeah.
Prior to any of that. You know?
And I think, don't you think that being around people who knew you when you were young and happy before any of this happened makes you feel young and happy and like that person that you
I think they add something to you. Like we pre-gamed this, but I talked about, I have friends that I call the before friends. Like I marked time with before my mother died and after my mother died. And these are the people that knew me in grade school, middle school, and high school. They knew me before I was like a person, you know, and I feel like they know the core person I was. Mm-hmm. They were in Girl Scouts, church choir, those kind of activities. They
knew the young, innocent you before,
and the happy me before any kind of tragedy.
Yeah.
And then I have good friends from college that knew me when it all happened. And then I've made friends afterwards, and each of those friend groups brings something to the table. But there's something special about having old mm-hmm. people that kind of knew your soul before anything tarnished it.
And for me, it's my college buddies. Like that's my group of soulmates, really. And part of it is they knew what I wanted. Like they knew what I wanted my life to look like. They knew what I like to do. Like
your dream.
Because for me, at least, that was a really formative time of finding out who I was. I think part of that was probably because my parents had been divorced. I had a really difficult adolescence because of that divorce. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the first time on my own I really found myself a lot at that time. And those are the friends who, you know, they did the arts with me, and they just, it was they're the first group that I have that I felt like really got me, really understood me. So, yeah.
Well, and I think in divorce, I think you're right. Reconnecting with the people who knew you before helps you remember that you were happy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think
and
it
that
grounds you.
You were happy. Well, I think it takes you, but grounds you back. Mm-hmm. You were happy. You had dreams, and those dreams, how can those dreams still exist after the in-between has happened?
Okay, not only how they can exist, but sometimes, you know, I talk about, I kind of lost myself there for years.
Yeah.
They not only remind you who you were, but they also tell you, you know, you had these dreams as a young person, what they were and how you were seen by your friends. They're your reflection. And sometimes that's what you need. Mm-hmm. You need to see how others see you, because sometimes you're so tarnished by what you've put up with. I will just put it that way. What you've put up with, how the other person, your ex-spouse or whoever, saw you or projected onto you, and you kind of lose yourself and you don't really know what your reflection actually is. You know, I think I've spoken, you know, when things were really crazy, I would call my dad and say, does this sound right? And he would say, that doesn't sound right at all. Because you live in a certain environment that maybe is not so healthy for you in your marriage, your perception of yourself changes. And your older friends know your true self. Like,
Well,
like
and
they
they also don't see you as the divorced girl or the girl whose husband cheated on her or the girl whose husband was an alcoholic.
or the girl
Or-
who's let herself go.
Yes, or that, you know, they don't see any of that. They see that fun, young,
Well, and
exciting person that you used to be.
So my college is closing, and we're in the midst of planning like a lot of kind of reunion things, and loads of people are coming in next week. And I realized in the like event that we had planned that one of my best friends had not commented on any of it. Now, I say this, one of my best friends, I see him every 2 or 3 years. We are not phone talkers, but he was my
But it's one of
roommate
those you
at a
pick
time,
up and you're like, soulmates.
He's my brother, you know? So I texted him and I said, hey, I don't know if you've seen any of this. And it occurred to me, maybe you're not using Facebook very much. Can I call you and let you know? He was like, sure. So we talked yesterday, actually. And I said, well, how are you? He's like, good. And I said, this is happening. He's like, great. And then he goes, okay, so tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. And I, you know, talked him through everything. And it's just that's sometimes that's just what you need. Like, all right, so I know you went through this. Let me know what it was,
right.
You know, and those people have picked up. I later found out that those people have picked up on a lot of things long before I did, or long before I had said anything. So anyway,
Well, I feel like those people kind of know your assets.
yeah.
So they like my group of friends, I have 7 girls who I went through grade school, middle school, high school with. They're my high school friends. We've all stayed together through all these years. And I can meet with one of them. I have one of them that lives in Birmingham. I can meet with her and she knows. She can look at my face and know if I'm trying to hide something or if something's bothering me. And it's disconcerting in a little bit because I think I'm a really good actress. But also it's really good to know there's people out there. There's a group of people who get me, like to the core, like, and they're not afraid to tell me, hey, this is BS, or we know you're feeling this and you just need to feel it. They kind of keep me true north. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of interesting to see because I don't necessarily speak to them all the time.
No, me neither.
But there's like 4 out of the 7 that I speak to constantly.
Yeah.
You know, and keep up with on a monthly or weekly basis. But it's not like we're together, but they know me well enough from way back to know what my facial expressions are 40 years later. They can tell me, you know.
Yeah, see, and I'm different in that I don't have a core group of friends like that. So I have one best friend from high school and I talk to her every once in a while. I have another good friend that I knew from grade school all the way through, and she was my roommate in college. And now I can call at any point in time. She can pick up at any point in time. And if I need a touchstone, I can call her and she will always be there. I have one friend that I met in college, and then I can call her. She lives in Atlanta the same kind of way. But for the most part, I never had those groups of friends. I went to such a humongous high school. I had 2 or 3, you know, just a small little close group, but really only stayed in touch with 1 or 2, nothing like that. And in college, it was the same way. And y'all know I had a friend who reached back out from me from college, and that ended up in a complete dating disaster. So, but you know, I really didn't have these groups of people that I felt like myself with. So I guess sometimes when I talk to y'all about feeling like never feel like I really fit in, I didn't find that until I was married here in Decatur. So
what are you saying that the Southeast girls? The Southeast
they are your people.
They are your tribe, girlfriend. You may have to
they always say that. Yeah, but you know, but I found my best friends after getting married and become a part of the small Decatur community. I did not have that foundation. My sister is one of my very best friends, and
you had a sister. See, I did not have.
I did have a sister.
You're also, Beth and I are also like major extroverts.
Yes, and I am not.
Yeah.
And I am not an extrovert. I am kind of the follow the crowd, love to be invisible, but be pulled along by my friends. So that does sort of, but that does mean that I didn't have all of those friends to go back to. And y'all talk about and it makes me a little jealous because I don't have that.
You know, I'm a collector.
Yes.
And I like to collect very eclectic people.
I just
like
to have at a time.
Same group.
Yeah, I collect them one at a time. I don't collect great big old grapes.
I collect them one at a time.
So that's been
we're the collectors. We're the ones running the show.
Wait. Is are you telling me that I've been collected?
I thought you were going to say anything.
We collected you.
You were supposed to let me know.
You have been marked with the address of SEs. It's that's on the forehead now.
And can I on the street with a Yankee?
Yankee
General's none.
It's okay.
So, but I have got my very best friends I made after marriage, like raising children and that sort of thing. One of my very best friends lives all of my best friends live right here. I've got one 2 blocks one way. Well, I've got you next door, you 2 blocks, and one I can see her laundry room from the front of
my crew that I roll with, they're more local. But like my core friends, they're all over the country.
You're just too cool. My crew, hey yo,
you know.
I'm so happy to have a young.
You know, my crew. I'm not young. I am not young,
baby.
But like those people are scattered. Like my again, my soulmate friends. I told somebody we're having this reunion next weekend, and I said, I feel so excited. I feel like a tiny child. Like I have butterflies in my stomach about it. I feel like the loves of my life are literally about to all be in one spot. But like some are in New York and Pennsylvania and South Carolina and Paris and Scotland, and just everybody's scattered all over. So I feel like I have one of each anywhere I go, which is kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But also we never get to see each other. So it's like, I don't know. It's just a wild feeling.
It makes me feel terrible about not keeping up with people. But part of that's my ADD out of sight, out of mind. I
don't keep up with people. And the people who you love and who love you get that.
Yeah.
And when you have that, like my friend Jeremy, who is he's my brother.
Is he the one that came and stayed with you for
right after my divorce?
Yeah.
And like right after my brief breakup with my partner, he came into town to do a casting thing, and then he stayed with me for a week. And I've known him since I was 13, 14. He's literally, we call him our brother. My sister, I call him our brother. He was my mom's drama student, and he just grew up with me. Like I've known him forever. We've gone through every important thing he knows about. So he came and stayed with me for a week, and we cleaned the house, and we talked all day and all night, and we just processed so much of life and things that had happened and things to look forward to. And that was the single most rejuvenating thing, was just having him there. He was like a drug. But
didn't he ground you too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him saying things that really made you think and feel kind of process.
Yeah.
I remember that period too. And I think you needed that. I think everybody needs somebody that can say the hard things and also have hard conversations.
Well,
and listen and hear the hard
What
things.
I was going to say is sometimes it's easier to hear those hard things from the people who've known you the longest, because they can look at you and go, this isn't really you, or what's this going on here? Because this is not how you are have been,
Right. Well, I think they bring a different perspective too. And from your new friends, I love my new friends. I love my old friends. I love the middle people. But the old friends can look at me and say, the old Beth Burns would not have put up with this.
Yeah.
What happened to this boundary? What happened to this goal? What happened to this dream that you had? They know all those things that, didn't have any kind of coding on them.
that you never defined, you just lived.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have one friend who showed up for my ex-husband's funeral because, when he passed, we had the church service, but then everybody came to my house, and and one of my friends from college walked through the door and I lost it.
Yeah.
It just, to have her take the time to drive from Atlanta here just for the funeral and drive back meant more to me than I can ever say. And I can't really say I've really talked to her a whole lot since then. But I know that if I needed her, I could pick up the phone and call her and she'd be right here.
But I think that sometimes your very, very closest friends don't have that expectation of the daily from you because everybody's so busy at the grind and with their families. And there's this level of understanding that you're always going to be close. You're always going to be friends. You're always going to know each other. You don't have to explain yourself.
No,
Yes.
you don't.
That's what it is.
You don't have to take
You
that.
don't have to explain
Do
this.
it.
You just have to
jump right
be.
in.
You just have to be. And I have had so many moments where those old buddies are like, you're hurting, come here. I talk about it, just be. And that's, I don't know, that can be more, especially when you're trying to juggle a million things in life.
Yeah.
To have people that can catch you or know that they're there if you need catching is everything to me. Anyway.
Well, but it makes divorce I won't necessarily say easier. I'll say bearable.
Yeah.
Because your friends came out of the woodwork, sort of.
Yeah.
Lauren, when you divorced and you're older and just kind of, especially him coming to stay with you.
Yeah.
Saw a need, filled a need.
Yeah.
And we're there for you. I think that's just gold.
And I have friends that I have made sense that get me on that level. I only have 2 or 3 that really get me on that level. When I was really struggling after that first year, really struggling, I had all kinds of stuff going on. I just couldn't get it together. I just could not get it together. And for a type A person, it freaked me out. I mean, I just felt like I was in the twilight zone all the time. And I had a friend that came to my house and helped me just, like your friend, get organized. She spent days there with me. Not only did she organize with me, she's also my children's godmother. And she made sure that they each had something special, that not just a gift, but she spent time with them and gave them tasks to do that she knew that they could complete and feel good about it. And she kind of just descended on my household and kind of got us all herded us like cats, herded us into the right direction that we needed to go. And I have to admit, I had this huge sense of dread that she was coming because my house was a mess. My life was in crumbles at that time. I mean, it really was. And she came in and I'm sure your friend was like that too. It didn't matter what it looked like. They just come and take care of you.
Yeah, and he did. He just helped me. We cleaned my whole house. He made me take Adderall.
What?
He made me take Adderall. He was like, no, you're going to need to talk to your doctor about this because you have ADD. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you a 5 milligram and we're going to get your house.
Well, but he also helped you plan how you're going to rearrange your house.
Yeah, we did so much.
Through it all.
Yes, so much just basic
furniture
stuff. Yeah.
And I got up in the middle of the night. There was a light on in my kitchen. I got up and her husband and my older child were cleaning silver at 2 a.m., smoking cigars and having a big time. And it was she made it fun.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes when you're at that point, you don't have the emotional energy to think through how that.
But
if somebody can push you, can just be there with you, honestly, you can.
Okay, well, can we also say that if you're in a point where you're feeling desperate and alone, reach out to those people.
Yes. Yeah. They love you.
But I didn't want to. I didn't want to.
I know you do. I know, but you don't want to, but what I'm saying is you have our permission to.
Yeah. You do.
And if you do it, it will make you'll see who's there for you. Those friends feel the same about it. You know what I mean? It can open up the door because for me, especially being introverted, not as many people would know unless you were close to me and keeping tabs on me that things were going on with me.
Well, and life is just the way we live now is just so busy. It's so busy all the time. So you have to, we chisel that out for the people who are in our immediate presence. But
Yeah.
those friends that aren't like my best friend in the world lives in Birmingham. I'm not that much of a phone talker unless it's to my partner. And I have one friend that I talk to on the phone, just like catch up daily, which is kind of our routine. It's a routine. But like
Yeah.
my bestie, I don't talk to her every day. But then it's like, every 2 months, we're like, oh my God, I have so much to tell you, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
And then I see her probably 3 or 4 times a year, you know? And
Yeah.
but it's just what our lives are. And who knows what it'll be later, but it doesn't make that relationship any less strong there's no requirements.
Right.
And there's
Or
no
expectations.
no, you can't. Everybody has their own stuff going on. And when you really need your people, they'll be there for you.
I have a question for y'all because I feel like I have not a superpower.
Yep.
But it's not a power that anybody wants. But do you feel like going through trauma and having had someone help you that you can recognize when somebody needs help, when they're down, when they're in the middle of just the, you know?
I think I can tell that mainly because I am an actor. And so I
can read people.
But
has it become heightened since your divorce?
No.
See, I feel like it has for me.
I think that yes, it's become heightened, only that I don't know. I don't mean to sound cold when I say this, but sometimes you have to decide to what level you can deal with somebody else's.
Well, okay. Well,
no,
no,
I'm not saying deal with it.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying, do you recognize it in people?
Yeah.
Like I can, now I look at people like, okay, I went to church through my whole thing. I know I did not look my best when I was going through things. I thought I had fixed up enough to go to church and in public.
Yeah.
But now in public, I can notice the girl that's sitting by herself with a little bit of, not super slumpy shoulders, but there's a little bit that she's not crisp. You know what I'm saying? And she's done her hair, but it's not the great. Like I can pick those people out, and there's a sadness in people's eyes. That's what I was. There's a difference in people's eyes.
Things differently. I pick it up in language. They'll be.
I pick it up in body.
Yeah,
language.
it's just sort of a body language, but the words just kind of phrased differently. Yeah, but I think that all three of us have narrowed our circles. So and we're very cautious of allowing other people to broach us.
That's what I was going to say. Is I'm really careful about what I let in. I think part of our pregame conversation, I was like, y'all, I just cannot have any more. I don't want any more new people right now, and that's just how I feel. That doesn't mean I'm going to feel like that forever, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to meet somebody who blows me over, and that's one of the people that I want to. But like, I'm just at a point where like I cannot include another.
Well, you know, I kind of took that to an nth degree when I moved here. And even when I lived in Columbia, I don't let a whole lot of people in my house. And I say, I don't want certain energy in my house.
Yeah.
I did make the mistake of letting someone in that I had dated previously into my house. And it was a very weird vibe. And I felt like I needed to light candles, like really burn sage. I felt like it was an uneasy feeling in my house. And I knew at the time, of course, I didn't want to be rude. I knew at the time when he stepped in that it was not optimal, but and I'm very careful who I let in my house now, almost to the point that I'm pushing recluse, but which is hard for an extrovert, but I'm very wary, and I'm very cognizant of people's energy that they put.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel that? I mean, or is it just me?
I don't really tolerate much negative energy around me.
Ooh.
That's one of the.
That's a hot subject, and we probably
I don't
put that on a different. Episode.
It's always we could spin it. Yeah,
like I really like. I try to put positive energy in. I try to talk about that with my students. I try to be really nice all the time. I found out somebody had said some untruths about things I had said the other day, and I had to have like a bit of a reckoning where I was like, we're not going to promote that We're not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have my name in your mouth if it's not something you actually heard me say. So I said, what are we going to say if somebody says Lauren said ... And they all went, we're going to ask if Lauren actually said that to you. Yes. Unless you heard Lauren say it, it doesn't exist. Like, that's not a true statement. So let that go. And I just don't, I don't put up with that anymore. I don't put up with with yelling or raised voices or anything like
But
that.
how much more peace do you have in your life for setting these boundaries that keep negative energy away?
My friend yesterday, who I was on the phone with, he was very close to me and my ex. He was my roommate at the time, and he knew my ex very well as well. And he was like, "Tell me what happened." And I talked him through everything. And he said, or wait, what did I say? He said, "How do you feel now?" And I said, that I just wish I had made the decision a lot earlier. And I said, but I will never regret any time keeping my family together. Like, my son needed that. I'm not going to regret that. However, the way I feel now is so light. I feel light and I feel happy all the time. That's what I said when I was talking about the lie that had its brand. I was like, I'm a very happy person. And I like that. I'm a very happy person. And I'm unhappy in this moment. Because this happened this morning. You made me unhappy. And I don't like that. So that is how I want to live. That is the energy that I want to put in the universe. And I don't, anytime any negative thing infiltrates, it really goes all over my body. Like, I can feel it all over my body. So I just keep those things out. And it has been great in my partnership, because when we're very even-keeled people, and I don't really have, but every once in a while, he'll have a little moment, like this little irritated moment. Like, I had my shoes on in the house the other day, and I tracked leaves in, and he was in a bad mood. And he was like, you have your shoes on, you track leaves in? I was like, and we're going to take them out, and it's going to be okay. And then it just quashed the moment, because that just, because that's how we deal with things. We're not going to make anything big of it. It's just going to be fine next.
Well, I have a whole new way of looking at things, thinking I'm very careful with negative people, and I've had to
set boundaries.
I've had to set boundaries, and I've had to kind of step back from a couple of relationships because, like you said, I'm not going to tolerate negative comments. I'm not going to tolerate raised voices or somebody shrieking at me.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just not going to do it. I said to the group, I'm going to call it the group that I was talking to the other day. I said, do not spread untruths. Do not be dramatic or promote drama or
unless you're on stage. That is the only place that's.
And I said, because you know what it is? Unattractive. Nobody wants to be around that energy. So why would you want to be that? So stop.
And to be honest, and I know that we're about to have to cut our time short, but I just want to make, even if you have these long time friendships, if they're toxic to you, time in is not an excuse to keep them.
No, I used
time in. No, you have got to cut those loose, because there's a point in time, just like with each one of our marriages, they played out.
Yeah.
Well,
they
everything
served
has a
their time. And it was in. What is it? And it ended. And that there can be an end.
There's an expiration date.
There's an expiration date. There's a ninth inning. There's an ending. There's an end to the game. We're done. And it's okay for friendships to end. It's okay for relationships to end. And it's okay to garner your old
sometimes it runs its course, and it's all right because it served its purpose at that time in your life. And that's just what makes up our lives.
Yes. And you don't have to hang on. You don't have to continue to pay someone in friendship for kindnesses of the past.
That's true. That's a hard lesson to learn.
It's a hard lesson to learn. But just because they were kind to you in the past does not mean you have to continue to pay them in friendship if their friendship has turned toxic to you.
Right.
All right. So let's wrap it up. So what are we doing this week or weekend to live the life that you love, ladies?
So I'm trying not to obligate myself to anything tomorrow because I have so much going on. So I'm trying just to be still.
You're doing Beth Gilbert.
I am. But next weekend is my theater reunion, and I'm trying to buckle down because
you're going to have so much fun. I'm so excited for you.
It's going to be It's going to be so.
a whole new Lauren.
I know. I
a whole new old Lauren.
I told my class about it this morning. I teach at a college, so I can say this. I told my class about it. They said, "Oh, you're going to get wasted," and I said, "Maybe."
You're going to be the whole new old Lauren when you get back.
Yeah. So we're going to have a really good time.
I'm
So what
going
about
to
you?
a huge plant sale with a friend, and I'm going to hang out. It's the first weekend of the farmer's market. So y'all know the old lady gardener and me, collector of vegetables and cooking me. It's going to be down there. It's in a new location. So I'm going to try that. And the rest of the weekend, I'm doing absolutely nothing. Maybe some stitching. That's about it.
Well, I have a conference to go to Sunday, Monday, not necessarily anything fabulously exciting, some computer science stuff, but my fun's already happened. And then my sister's in, she lives out of the country. And so she was in and she spent the night with me one night this week. And we had a shopping day to look for a mother of the groom dress for me and all of that. And it was just so fabulous to have her in my house and just have her for 24 hours.
Well, she's your constant.
Yeah,
So
she
that's-
is. And she's like a part of me. And so just to have her around was just so wonderful. So
Well,
I've already had mine.
Let's toast to old friend, old
All
friends.
friends.
And to new friends. Us
Sit on the
girls.
park bench like pumpkins.
Oh, wait, did you just sing the girlfriend? The Girl Scout song?
No, it's Paul Simon. It's Simon.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just thought you were talking about friendship before. Some friends are silver and the others
No,
are
that
gold.
one is.
No, that's the Girl Scout song.
Friends keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold.
How do we remember that?
Girl Scout.
I don't know.
Girl Scouts.
Anyway,
Look, I'm going to do
Apparently
Girl
we were
Scout
all a
song.
Girl Scout.
on my honor, I will try to serve God in my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. We are nerds.
All right, so that was not set to song, so I don't remember it.
Oh.
I only remember the
Oh,
part
my
set to song.
On my honor, I will try to serve God in my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
You'd be a very good Catholic.
Thank you. I'm a cancer.
the
I do
cancer.
it.
Yeah. All right. Love
Cheers, y'all. Have a good week.
Bye.
Thank y'all for joining us for Champagne Sunday.
See you next week,
See you
girls.
next week. Yeah, cheers.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.